Hello and welcome to my 10-step guide on being an ARC reader. So if you have been here or whether it is your first time at my channel, you will know that I review ARC books, and I have for the past 2 years. Some have been great, some not so great. You sort of get a nice balance. But here is my 10-step guide to becoming an ARC reader. Now, what is an ARC? An ARC is an advanced reading copy. And that is a copy of a book you get either from an author or from a publisher or from an online platform, that you get a copy before the book is published. So that when the book is published, there are already reviews out to guide readers into whether buying it is for them or not, and to help boost the author on publication day, if that is what you want to do. Now, step number 1, like reading. It sounds so simple, and it is, because if you don't like reading, then you're not going to want to read ARCs, because you don't like reading. It's so simple. But yeah, you've got to like reading. Do you need a plethora of books? No. You just need to read them. Number 2 is it helps to have a separate email address. And it is not my main email address, but it is the email address I use for ARCs. Because you are going to end up giving this email address out to strangers so that they can send their book to you. And it helps if you have a separate one from your personal, because you don't really want, especially if you don't feel comfortable in giving someone your personal information, you can just give them this email address that you just make up for this, and then that's it. Now, in doing with the email address, have your social media set to public and not private, especially on the likes of Instagram, because most publishers, if your page is private, they're not even going to bother. They're not, because they want to look, and authors want to look at what you've been posting. Most of the time they want to look anonymously. And if your page is private, then they have to follow you to have a look, which means can lead to a follow to unfollow, especially if what you're posting doesn't align with what they think their book is. And if you don't post books at all, that can have a factor too. Now, in having a separate email address, it is only after 2 years of ARC reading that authors are finding that email address either on YouTube or on TikTok or on some of the many sites that we're going to get into that you can sign up for, and they've started sending me unprompted ARC books or blurbs. And it helps if all of those emails coming in go into one email address rather than your personal one, which means that it can either, just so it doesn't get all backed up and just so there's not loads of stuff going in all at once. It's nice to keep them separate. Number 3, have an ebook reader. Now, I know that because of the cost, sometimes it is hard to justify getting a Kindle or an e-reader of some other kind. But most authors, I know you see on TikTok or YouTube all the time of ARC unboxings of physical books. But in my opinion, the only books that I have seen do that is dark romance, which is fine if that is what you're into. Or like cozy romance, which is fine if that's what you're into. It's obviously not what I'm into, so I don't get them. The only ARCs I do get are either download to Kindle or a PDF. And one of the ARCs I've read just was a PDF. There was no way to transfer it to Kindle. I had to read it on my computer screen, which really took me out of it completely. But ARC reading is mostly done electronically on your Kindle. If you're going to get into ARC reading, a Kindle is exactly where you want to go. Number 4, and this is to do again with social media, but follow publishers, follow authors, because then you'll start to see their posts, you'll start interacting, And when publishers or authors put up posts that they're looking for ARC readers, which they do a lot, especially on Instagram, and they'll have a sign-up form that you can then click into. But that's how I started getting most of my ARCs, and especially with publishing houses, you go onto their website and put your email in the newsletter. This email that you keep separate from your personal one, put it in to receive the newsletters, because that's again how you're going to get notified that there are ARCs going up. That's what I did. I follow loads of publishing houses. The first publishing house I followed was Quill and Crow Publishing House, and that's where I get all my gothic reads. And follow indie authors. If you like a book, follow the author. What I did was, you can see there's many books I have behind me. I went along the shelving of all of them, wrote down the author, wrote down the publishing house, and searched for it on social media. Followed them. Followed all of them, because that is how you get it going. And the more you interact, the more people interact with you. And yes, I know, my Instagram isn't even at 1,000 followers because I don't interact. And I hardly post a thing because I am awful at replying. I always feel so like, who do I think I am? And that is part of it. But you have to push past that, which I'm working on, pushing past that. Because it doesn't hurt to follow somebody, it doesn't hurt to interact, and it doesn't hurt to get told no. Number 5, sign up to ARC websites. So the ones that I'm on, the ones that I personally know are Book Sirens, Booksprout, BookFunnel, and NetGalley. Sign up to all these, download a few ARCs, and they will start sending you updates, Book Sirens in particular, and I think NetGalley is. They take your information from Goodreads, which is another one you want to be signed up for, to log what you read, because authors look at what you've read previously to see if you're going to be a fit for their book. You might think you are with their blurb, but the author might not think you are, and if they don't think you are, they're not going to send you an ARC copy, because why would they send it to somebody who they think is going to not like it? That's not the point. Number 6, lower your expectations. And that sounds mean, but lower it. When you're starting out ARC reading, you can apply for as many books as you like. Beware, because you might get them. But the big ones, like I apply for Stephen King books. I have not got enough of a following to get an ARC from a Stephen King book. It would make my day. But that is my expectation. I know I'm not going to get one. Some of the big authors, the big publishers, I saw quite a few posts this year for The Night and the Moth coming out later this month, that loads of people wanted an ARC. They wrote to the publisher, they wanted an ARC, but they didn't get it, and they were quite salty about it. You're not going to get it if that is the only ARC you have ever read. If you've never read an ARC, of course a publisher isn't going to go for it. And a big book like that has a gigantic following, they're going to go for the influencers, booktokers, bookstagrammers, booktubers that have that high-end following. So lower your expectations a bit and try not to be disappointed if you ask for something and you don't get it. And don't let rejection get you down, because it's not personal. None of this is personal. ARCs are mainly from indie authors. Most of them are debut novels. Most of them won't be edited to the perfection that a publishing house like Hodder and Stoughton or Orbit or Little Brown Book Group or any of them would hold their books to standard. Most indie authors have to edit themselves. They don't have the money to send it out to someone else to do it. So when you're reading, you just need to be aware of that. Number 7, don't ask for too many ARCs, because then you will overwhelm yourself when they all come through. And I am guilty of that. I am guilty of it constantly, because you see blurbs come up and you think, oh, I'll be interested in that. Click. And it might be 3 months before it lands in your inbox. And in that 3-month interim, you have signed up for 10 or 20 other ones because you don't think you're going to get them, and then they all come through at once. And arcs do have a time limit. You're not held to it. But for those that like to be in that time limit, because the whole point of an arc is an advanced reader copy, you're supposed to read it before the published date. And I am guilty of not doing that with some of them, just because there's so many of them, or I want to read some other books, or life just happens. And it's not a contract. You're not getting paid for this. It is volunteer work, by another name. So although there is a deadline that you're supposed to stick to, it isn't set in stone, and most authors, not all, most authors will understand that life happens. And in this, authors will send blurbs and books to your email address. You are under no obligation to interact. No matter how many books are sent to you, you are under no obligation to read them all, or read any. I've started getting books sent to my email address. Some of them just don't interest me. Do I reply to the author and say, your book isn't interesting to me, I'm not going to bother reading it? No, because that's mean. I just ignore it. And that's not bad of me, and it wouldn't be bad of you. Because if you force yourself to read something, you're not going to give it the chance that you would if you'd have found it organically because you like it. Just because someone has sent something to you does not mean you have to accept it. You're under no obligation. Now, speaking of dates, keep track of them. Put them in your phone calendar. Write them on your wall calendar so you can see it. Put them in your diary. Set reminders on your phone. Because the whole point of an arc is for you to read it before the published date. And I said, just if you can't meet the deadline, do not stress yourself out about it. It can't be helped. But if you consistently fail to meet the deadlines of books, especially if you're doing it for a publisher, they might kick you off the ARC team. And they probably will. Or the influencer programs, if you get on them. You'll get kicked off for consistently not meeting the deadlines. Because they can't rely on you. And somebody else will have that spot. 9. Honestly review the book. I don't care whether it's a 5-star, 3-star, or a 1-star. Review it honestly. Because that is the point. You are not doing this to guard the author's feelings about their book. You are doing it for the readers that potentially could be interested in said book. Now, there is a hell of a lot of discourse online about this, and some authors do ask reviewers if it is below a certain star rating not to post the reviews of the book until the book is published. Usually they ask 2 weeks after publishing. To which I always refuse. Because the whole point is to write an honest review before publication day. That is why it is an advanced reading copy. Authors should not be in reviewers' spaces, and there has been many problematic things that happen when authors go in reviewer spaces. Reviews are not for authors. They're for readers. And if you can tell that I am getting quite passionate about this, it's because I am sick to the sight of seeing it online. It's why I haven't written a book, because I would read every single review and I would internalise the lot. 5 stars, 1 stars, DNFs. I would feel it personally. That's why I don't write a book. And some authors are fine, because on Goodreads you can filter what ratings you see. And some of them will filter below a 3, which is fine. That's their prerogative. With a 3-star, it's still a good star rating. In fact, it's a great star rating. because anything above that is the book has made the reader feel a certain way. 3-star ratings are good. Even 2-star ratings can be good, with constructive criticism. It is when the reviews are just mean on purpose, saying this book is shit, this book is awful, what the hell, the author can't write, and doxing authors has happened, which is bad behaviour. But authors in reviewer spaces should not be able to dictate when that review is posted. The whole point, like I said, of an ARC review is that it gets posted before the publication date so that it helps readers make a choice. If an author feels some type of way about that, then get out of the kitchen. If this is your first day on the internet, sucks to be you. Because if you think that your work is a 5-star, then well done. You think your work is a 5-star. I might give it 1 because I don't like it. But then I don't have that emotional connection that you have to your own work. I love my videos that I put out, but not everybody is going to like them. I know that. I get hate comments in my comment section every now and then. It's expected. It's on the internet. Of course I'm going to get people not liking it. But authors that go after reviewers, it's problematic, it is bad behaviour, and they should be and will be put on blast. Now, most of the time when I go after an ARC, and it's an ARC that I'm not quite sure of, most of the time these Google sign-up forms will ask you to put your links to your social media in, which is good, because then they get to see how you review. So what I say in my review videos usually is word for word what I put on Goodreads. I might get a bit more animated in my videos because that is me, but it's usually what I put on Goodreads. And if somebody doesn't want to, or an author doesn't want to see me rip apart their book because I haven't liked it, because yeah, I can be a bit of a bitch when I don't like something, and I will rip it apart. Doesn't happen often, but it does happen. Usually I write the review, put the review on Goodreads. If I love the book, I'll be there on publication day. If I didn't like the book, the review will still be there, but the video will come out after publication. Usually a few weeks, because then it's fair game and I can be as mean as I like. But it doesn't happen often. It only happens maybe a handful of times so far that I've been particularly mean about something, and it is always mean about the book, not personally mean about the author. There's a line. You don't cross that line. It's just bad behaviour. As you're reviewing and you don't know what to write, just if you liked the book, just say, I loved this book because it made me feel happy, elated, I couldn't put it down. Job done. That is as good a review as a full essay of review. It doesn't have to be War and Peace. It doesn't have to be a 500-page document to review a book. This book is great because it made me happy, and can't wait to see what happens in the next one. It's just as good as a full-blown essay. I was never very good at writing essays. If I'm annoyed with a book, I'll have diarrhea of the keyboard. I'll have diarrhea of the keyboard, but that's because I'm annoyed. And again, it made me feel a certain type of way. But little short paragraphs, perfectly fine. And have a look at how other reviews are written, especially if it's a book you've just finished. I like reading the reviews when I've written down my main thoughts. I like reading the other reviews to see if people agree with me or people don't, or they've had different ways, or how they've wrote it. Especially when I was just starting out, how they've wrote it, how they've segmented it. Segmented? It's late now. But remember, the whole point of ARC reviews is that it comes out before publication day. So ARC reviews are spoiler free. Now, not every video on my channel for ARC reviews is spoiler free, but they come out after the publication day. The reviews on Goodreads come out before. And all book reviews should contain no spoilers, but ARC reviews especially. No spoilers allowed. Rule number 10. Do not tag authors in your review if you post it on social media. Do not do that. I said earlier that authors should not be in reviewer spaces and reviewers should not drag them into it for their own mental health. By all means, if it is a 5-star glowing review with no criticism and just saying that you loved the book, you couldn't get enough of it, and encouraging people to read it, then it is up to your discretion whether you tag the author in it or not. I do. If it's a 5-star glowing review and I have no criticism whatsoever to say about it, then the author gets tagged in a picture of the book. And just me saying it's 5 stars, I think everybody should read it, and it's glorious, phenomenal work. Anything below that, absolutely not. Now, when I first started out, I wasn't aware of this rule, and I had a 3-star book, and I tagged the author in it. Now, I wasn't mean about it. It wasn't one of the ones that I was quite mean about. I just said the things that I didn't like about it, and there was more that I didn't like than what I did. But it was a 3-star review, and the author completely ignored me, which they should. And now looking back on it, I do feel incredibly guilty for tagging her in that. And incredibly lucky that she didn't blast me out. But don't tag authors in anything less than a 5-star. In fact, if you have any criticism about the book, do not tag them at all. Some ARC sign-up sheets will specifically say authors are not to be tagged in any reviews at all, because it protects them. They don't want to see, on Goodreads they can decide what star ratings they can see. If you tag them in a post on social media, you are forcing them to look, even against their will, because it pops up in notifications with part of the post what's going on. It's just not done. You just don't do it. It's bad on all sides, and there have been so many interactions that have blown up out of proportion just because the reviewer has tagged the author in a bad review. Just don't do it. It's not book etiquette. And the last part of ARC reading is have fun. Enjoy what you're doing. Some indie authors especially will have street teams. They'll send you artwork to put on your social media. They'll send you things that you can post on. Things that you can say about the book if you're so inclined. I've got one in June that I'm booked in for. I've got one in June that I am booked in for. I think it's the 24th. And that's where I'll be promoting the book and using the pictures that I've got sent. And that's fine. But ARC reading is ultimately your choice. It's your choice what you pick. It's your choice how you review it. And it's your choice what you say about it, because reading is ultimately an individual experience. And I look forward to seeing your ARC reviews, because I like reading them. If this guide has been helpful, I think it's only going to be a quick one, like 20 minutes, maybe a 15, I hope. Pop it down I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. And, as always, keep reading.
Lonely shadows dance with glee. Eyes of amber, soul set free. Finds they weave a tale so grand, woven by a whispering hand. Set the light, embrace the night. Dark stars journey shining bright. Through the trials, through the pain, love and light shall still remain.